Hello everyone and welcome back to a split review, and in this video I'm going to review Annihilationism by Masonna and Prurient. Two of the legends in the harsh noise and power electronics scene, Masonna and Prurient, have made a split together, and I was definitely looking forward to this release, even if I haven't really invested that much into what those two artists have done over the past couple of years, because I don't really find some of their more recent works to be some of the more exceptional stuff they've done over the years. However, when it comes to the split over here, I was really pleased with the results, actually to the point where I would consider this to be undoubtedly one of the greatest releases those two artists have put out in recent memory. This over here is an absolutely brutal and menacing harsh noise release, which I'd say contains some of the best elements and approaches out of those two artists. With tracks that don't necessarily seem to be brand new material, I believe that this album is mostly a collection of tracks that they've done in multiple different periods of time, and it kinda feels like it, since some of the approaches we see over here are more reminiscent to some of the stuff that they've done years ago, but it doesn't really matter in which period of time we're talking about. What we get over here is a series of pretty short tracks in an album that only goes for 30 minutes long. It is a pretty short project, but in this pretty short project what we get is undoubtedly some of the most punishing, relentless and brutal stuff those two artists have put out in a very long period of time. Prurient and Masonna are known for making such intense and powerful releases, and this is definitely at its peak. Just 30 minutes of non-stop, relentless noise assault. It is all in your face, and it definitely makes for one of the most insane harsh noise releases that you're going to listen to this year. If you are fans of this more brutal side of the sounds of Masonna and Prurient, then you're definitely gonna find a lot of enjoyment out of this album, because this album truly contains some great stuff in both fronts. In terms of Masonna, we're talking about some pretty straightforward material. If you are familiar with the sound of Masonna, then you know what to expect. Short tracks with lots of chaotic passages, really aggressive harsh noise sections with intense vocals and a ton of feedback and effect manipulation. All of those elements are really nicely being put into those 7 tracks. Out of the 13 tracks, Masonna gets 7 in his side and Prurient gets 6, because some of the Prurient tracks are a bit lengthier, but in terms of the Masonna side, they don't really extend the 2-minute mark. And this is pretty usual for Masonna stuff, as the tracks always just seem to be straightforward and straight to the point, without really changing that much, just getting this relentless chaos that Masonna is really known for. And like I said, some of the results over here are absolutely spectacular, with a series of Untitled songs, with some of my favorites being the first one and the third one, and also could consider the 7th one with a high frequency ear-piercing noise feedback being a fantastic, brutal and punishing song. On the other hand, when it comes to the Prurient side, we're talking about a bit of a more variation over here, which is something that you get with many different Prurient releases. He's much more of a varied artist in comparison to Masonna, which for me in some cases it works tremendously, but his works can be quite hit or miss. And actually a few of my favorite stuff from Prurient actually have to do with some of the more atmospheric passages and some of his more sad and depressing works. But obviously what we get over here is a side with some of his more aggressive approaches that we get with his music all over the years. So we get tracks over here like Sidewalk and Mike Giant Mask, which make for some pretty standard power electronics tracks, and for me it wasn't really making for some of the best moments in the album. At this point the Masonna side was feeling kinda superior, but in my opinion the Prurient side really picks up with the track 6000-Year-Old Man, which plays a little bit more with effects and electronic portions that made for a more engaging moment, which differentiated itself from what the album was providing beforehand. And then there's also the fantastic Jean Jacket, which goes into some of my favorite Prurient approaches when it comes to those really ear-piercing high frequencies. It makes for some of my favorite material of Prurient, and I like the direction with this track, the really harsh vocals and the really fantastic noise passages and the feedback. It makes for a really good moment over here. And then the other highlight I would say is the track S.T.D Cox, with all of those brutal and noisy pops, and also an addition of a loud synth that creates this atmosphere that I really enjoy out of Prurient songs. Overall, this is a pretty short album that is just in your face. It is just non-stop fury and aggressiveness from start to finish, and it is awesome. For anyone who is into harsh noise and power electronics, this is one of my strongest recommendations. This is undoubtedly for me some of the greatest stuff Masonna and Prurient have put out in recent memory. This is a spectacular album and a really great and intense harsh noise release. I'm gonna give Annihilationism an 8 out of 10. What's your opinion on this album? Like it, dislike it, why? And what do you want me to review next time? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.